of an ED commitment under various possible scenarios. And NACAC strongly recommends that colleges and universities include this clarified language on their websites. The other major update pertains to artificial intelligence. So there's new guidance encouraging members to consider the ethical use of AI in all aspects of their work. So encourage everyone to check out the updated guide to ethical practice in college admission. The Advancement Committee had just one quick update to share. You can see the sponsorship and exhibitor chart being shared. They would just like everyone to know that they're accepting sponsorships and exhibitors now for the SACAC conference in March to be held in New Orleans. Any questions can be sent to advancement@sacac.org. Okay, and now to share updates on the annual conference, I will send it back over to Anita. Anita, you still with us? Okay, I may have to jump in, Anita. We'll go ahead and just share that for anyone. Oh, Anita, you still here?
I'm still here. Just,
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
you would think that since COVID, we all know how to work a video. I'm in my car, so that's me. I'm trying to rush home to replace my nanny. But you guys, we are so excited to be celebrating our 60th anniversary. It is not only the organization's birthday, but it's also our 60th conference. It's very rare that those two things might line up. So we are looking forward to seeing everybody in New Orleans. Thank you for everyone who submitted a session proposal. You will be hearing soon about whether or not you'll be joining us as a presenter, but it's already been so great to evaluate the really great information that you all want to share, the expertise that you all have. So in terms of, I don't know, I think there's a second slide that has the dates. There we go. So if you want to join us, it's gonna be in March this year. Registration will launch in December. We'll be sharing more information, but you've probably already seen that our 60th anniversary planning committee has been sharing some posts on social media and also via email to try and gather more information about our members. We want to celebrate everyone. So please feel free to respond to those messages, complete those forms, send us pictures. We've got a lot to celebrate in a short amount of time, but I hope that you all can join us. I know that there will be, for anybody who might have need additional resources, I know that we've got some folks on here who'll tell you about the ways in which SACAC can support you. So looking forward to seeing everybody in Louisiana and New Orleans, but let us know if you have any questions. Dr. Corey Bailey will be your point of contact for all things logistics, anything content related, especially sessions. You can reach out to me. And then registration is all Diana. So just a wonderful little three-piece team there. So thank y'all, and sorry for all of the lovely traffic that you're seeing in the background here in Atlanta, Georgia. So it's nice to join you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. We really appreciate it. All right. We'll jump ahead to updates from the Communications Committee. And the Communications Committee just wanted to share some quick notes. They connect SACAC members with information about SACAC programs and initiatives, as well as issues relevant to the college admission profession. The committee is responsible for gathering content for SACAC's Southern Scope blog. They do the What's Coming Wednesday newsletter. They do social media, and they assist with website content and email communication for the organization. So anyone who didn't know, that is what the Communications Committee does. You can apply to be a member of the Communication Advisory Board. That application opens each May for the following year. If you want to submit pictures, story ideas, event summaries, or other suggestions, you can do that to the committee at its communications@sacac.org. And everyone is encouraged to follow them on LinkedIn. So that's it from the Communications Committee. We've got Finance Committee up next. Notes about the count. Oh, please go ahead, Iris. I didn't see you were here. Great, thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Iris Martinez. I'm currently at Christopher Columbus High School, and I am one half of the Finance Committee along with my co-chair Nancy Wolf. We oversee the Counselor Participation Fund and extending the Dream Grant. So the Counselor Participation Fund will provide financial assistance to SACAC members to attend SACAC events, such as the annual conference, summer seminar, sweet tea tour, and dry run. And then we do offer, there is preference to those working at public schools and CBOs. We have something important to know is we have 2 applications. So the first round of applications is if you're interested in securing funding to participate in our annual conference coming up in Louisiana. That application is currently open and will close December 2nd. And that's for funding, to secure funding to the annual conference. Round 2 of the application will open in February and will close in March. And that's if you're interested in securing funding to participate in summer seminars, sweet tea, as well as dry run. Just some kind of facts about that, about CPF, just to provide you with some context. Last year, CPF was able to provide funding to 30 SACAC members to participate in PD. And that included all of our PDs that you see listed on the screen. Now, moving over to extending the Dream. This is a grant that enables SACAC members to establish and pay for special projects in their communities that will ultimately benefit our students. So every February we host, there's an informational webinar, and last year's webinar is currently on our website, but just stay tuned for that. That application is going to open in February and it will close in March. And to give you some context there, last year ETD, we were able to award grants that range from $400 all the way to $1,000 for programming for our members to utilize in projects within their communities. So great opportunities. Please make sure that you're sharing this within your network. If you want to secure funding to attend our conference, which is a special one this upcoming year, make sure that you complete that application by December 2nd. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll enter our email on the chat. Thank you all. Happy Friday.
Thank you, Iris. I appreciate that. All right, we will jump over to governance and nominating. And Sean, since you're there, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Meredith. Hi again, everybody. Sean Kennedy, past president. One of the roles of past president is also to serve as the vice chair of the Governance and Nominating Committee, the group that selects the next slate of board members, the president-elect, and in this cycle, a treasurer-elect. In addition to the personnel that we are a part of recognizing, we also have 6 different awards. And you'll see information both on the website and in what's coming Wednesday frequently. We just had a webinar that there's a summary of that you can take a look at. So 6 different awards. All 6 of them have an individual component to them. 2 of them, the Rising Star Program Award and the President's Award for Elect, also recognize and have a program or initiative component to it as well. So if you're thinking about great programs that are that your school is running or that your institution's running, or that you with other colleagues at other institutions are putting together, there's an opportunity for those to be recognized as well. So we're right now in the phase where we are accepting board applications for board member positions that end up being kind of running the committees that you're hearing from. We're anticipating up to 7 openings for that. So lots of opportunity, need lots of great new leadership. We'll have a treasurer-elect who will serve as sort of a shadow for the current treasurer for a year, and then then assume a 3-year term. And then we have the president-elect who will have that role, and that's a 4-year term. As we're looking for this, there is also an opportunity, if you're not interested in serving or applying for one of those roles, there's also an opportunity for you to nominate someone for the Governance and Nominating Committee to reach out to. So if you know someone who you know would be great in that role, or maybe it's somebody you've talked to and be like, hey, should I run for the board? Should I not? The answer is yes. Go ahead and put their name in. You do not need to be nominated to apply for the board, but this just gives us the ability to see who's out there, see who might be great, see who you think is great, and then the governance and nominating committee will reach out and take it from there. So if you're thinking about it, the answer is yes, go for it, join us. We need great leadership to continue to make this organization awesome. And thanks for your time. Thanks, Meredith. I'll turn it back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. Great to have you with us. All right, we'll jump ahead to government relations, and we have Rose Llanos here to present. So Rose, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Meredith. Hello, my fellow North Carolinians. I am joining you from Florida. We're a little chilly, got some cooler weather, so don't mind the sweater vest. It's unfortunately already 70 degrees, so that was short-lived. But I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk about all things related to government relations. We are fortunate enough to be able to work with counselors and educators like yourselves, whether it's in the high school or college counseling side, all the way to college admission, to help inform our educators about important issues related to education, affordability, funding. So we program and create programming once a year respective in your state. And I have my colleague here, Heidi, who's planning very hard and working diligently to create some wonderful day called our Voices in Action event. And that's going to be an opportunity for you to speak up, to share important areas and issues that are relevant to your students and how we can represent our society, our association better. So the proposed date that she has for us for North Carolina is going to be December 3rd, and we're hoping to have a meeting after the NCIS meeting, which is the North Carolina Association of Independent Schools. So go ahead and save that date, add it to your calendar. I know she's working with Queen's University, and if she's here and wants to speak, you're more than welcome to add any additional context. But this is a great, wonderful way to learn how you can make an impact at your local levels and be able to work with others who are passionate about providing access and college education funding for students in their area. So we hope that we'll see you in the upcoming year, and we'll also be posting information on our government relations newsletter that ties very closely with NACAC priorities and different issues and funding that are related to briefs, whether it's briefs, whether it's policy issues, whether it's action alerts, etc. Things that you can do from the comfort of your phone, from your computer, visiting your local representatives. Those are great ways that we will encourage you to learn more about, so that you can do some local advocacy from your own desk. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Meredith, and we hope to see you in the coming year at our Government Relations Voices in Action event.
Great. Thank you so much, Rose. I'm sorry I should have changed your slide earlier, but all right. Next up, we have the Inclusion, Access, and Success Committee, and we have Eleni Garcia here to present on behalf. So Eleni, if you're here, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. My name is Eleni Garcia, and I am with the one of the co-chairs of Inclusion, Access, and Success. And I'm here to just plug our committee. We are looking for volunteers to join, and there'll be a QR code in a couple of slides. But we're looking for volunteers for the virtual forum. We're looking for volunteers to help lead our outreach program that occurs on the day before the conference starts, which is for New Orleans-based students. And so essentially, as you can tell from our volunteer openings, that our committee is committed to reaching out to our students, our constituents, our parents, counselors in the area, and making the college process accessible to all of them. And so those are just some of the programs that we provide for families. So for us as counselors, for those that are on the higher ed side, we do offer virtual discussion book club that you can, if you get the what's coming on Wednesdays, you will be able to see when the dates are coming up for that. They had their first or second discussion of this term yesterday. And so they're working through some chapters of a book that's really great. And we have some really committed chairs to that. So it's been really great, really successful. And we're excited about what they'll be reading next. So please feel free to join in on the conversation. For our next slide, as I mentioned about parent student access, counselor access, one of the things that we do is the college admission workshops. If those of you that have been SACAC members for a long time, it used to be Mini Camp College a few years back, and that is held in every state, as many as possible. So we would love to have as many states have college admission workshops at any point during the year. On the next slide, you'll see North Carolina is well represented by Allison at Queen's University of Charlotte. She is your go-to person if you would like to volunteer and help her out on that day. And present. So we need expertise. Usually we present on financial aid, the college application process, the college essay, and so on. So please feel free to, if you're interested to help out with the college admission workshop for North Carolina, please reach out to Allison. And last but not least, if you are interested in volunteering, whether it's at a speaker level or presenter level for our virtual forum, which is also about inclusion and access, that will happen tentatively on May 20th this coming year in 2026. And we'll send out, once we formalize the date, we'll send out more information. But if you're interested in presenting, if you're interested in spearheading one of our committees, subcommittees within the larger IAS committee, please feel free to scan the QR code and fill out our volunteer application, and we will reach out to you. We just had our first committee meeting yesterday, so we're excited to get going and gather everybody together, get quite a bit of momentum going for all of the projects that we have going on. So thank you for being with us today and for being a SACAC member.
Thank you for that. So I will be speaking on behalf of the Member Relations Committee. There are committee members right there, as well as their email contact. The Member Relations team, they do a lot of the behind the scenes work to enhance the SACAC experience. We have just a couple of updates and reminders for you all today. On the next slide, we have the special interest groups. These are various micro communities within the SACAC that allow for opportunities to network as well as knowledge share among members of similar professional roles, interests, affinities, and issues. So the special interest groups typically host at least one virtual meeting each fall and one in-person meeting at the spring annual conference. So if you all are coming to that, be on the lookout for that if you're interested. And then on the next slide are a few of our upcoming special interest group meetings. December 3rd at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, we've got a meeting for public school counselors. On December 3rd, noon Central Standard Time, we have special interest group for the LGBTQIA community and counselors that serve that population of students. December 9th at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, we have those of Christian orientation. December 11th at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, we also have some special meetings for independent educational consultants. And then on January 29th at 11:30 Central Standard Time, we will have some programming for private school counselors. All SACAC members are encouraged to join special interest groups, and you don't have to choose just one. So please join as many of you would like. And if you're interested in joining a special interest group, just go to the website listed and email the special interest group leaders or email the member relations team. And for those of you, for the next slide, for SACAC memberships, if you're here, you are likely already an active SACAC member. But if not, please use this QR code to renew your membership. You can also renew online as well. It's a $45 annual fee. However, if you are a public high school counselor or serve as a community-based organization for college access counselor, your membership is free. And if you know anyone who would benefit from being a member of SACAC, please encourage them to join. We would greatly appreciate that. And if you have any questions, just reach out to the member relations team. So for the Professional Development Committee, I'm going to pass this along to Julie Carter. And if you are here, Miss Julie, feel free to have the floor.
I am. Hello. Thank you all for having me. As she mentioned, I am Julie Carter. I'm one of the co-chairs for professional development. Our committee oversees all the fantastic professional development opportunities that SACAC provides. Some of you may have participated in one of our 2 training programs that is offered on an annual basis for people in all areas of the work that we do. Summer Seminar is a residential 4-day workshop that is designed for new to nearly new secondary school college counselors, where they hear from other SACAC members who are seasoned professionals from both sides of the desk, from undergraduate admissions, as well as from secondary school college counseling, to learn best practices and discuss all aspects of the college counselor's responsibilities. We are going to be having our 2nd year in July. It's going to be hosted at Belmont and Vanderbilt universities in Nashville. So if you or someone you know is a new or new-ish college counselor on the high school side, we definitely encourage you to check that out. You can scan the QR code for more information, and also keep an eye on what's coming Wednesdays. The counterpart to that is designed for folks who are beginning to work on the college side of undergraduate admissions is called Dry Run. It also is a 4-day residential workshop staffed by SACAC members from both the high school side and the college admissions side. They spend a lot of time running through various workshops, some case studies, discussing issues and situations, as well as learning some skills and gaining practical experience to help get them out on the road and starting their admissions recruitment. We will be returning in July of 2026 to Rollins College for this year's program. Again, scan the QR code and keep an eye on your email for more information. If we could go to the next slide. Awesome, thank you. So 2 other programs that professional development oversees are the webinars. As the name suggests, it's a series of webinars that SACAC hosts. Very often those topics and ideas are generated by members either asking for content or members who have some ideas or information that they want to share with others. We have a great webinar team that helps coordinate and put all of that together. But it is a way that we can come together virtually to share ideas, best practices, as well as valuable information for all participants to improve their practice. While we do not have a QR code for that, definitely keep an eye on Growth Zone. That is the platform we can log into as SACAC members, or the What's Coming Wednesday emails for upcoming topics, dates, and ways to sign up. The other thing that's on the slide is our SACAC Leads program. That is a mentorship program of sorts that brings together seasoned SACAC members from all areas to work with a new cohort of SACAC members who want to get more involved, who want to become more informed, committed, and qualified leaders to be contributing partners as a part of the SACAC, all of SACAC's programs. So SACAC Leads prepares and motivates participants to provide intentional, dynamic leadership within their member states. We are about to start this year's program. We are finalizing the grouping, but by all means, we encourage you, if that sounds like it might be of interest to you or someone you know, to keep note of it, research a little bit more. We do run that program annually, and participants have a lot of great things to say. And our last slide, our other big program, while it is residential, this one is a moving program. Each summer we run a 5-day tour visiting 10 to 15 colleges and universities throughout the Southeast, generally focusing on one geographic region at a time. Participants fly into our initial host city, meet with the planning team, and then visit colleges and universities to see their campuses, hear from their admissions professionals, and as we all know, get that glimpse of what life is like that we can take back to our students. We are finalizing plans and will be publicizing soon this year's tour route. We are very excited about it, as it This program often gives us as college counselors on the high school side, CBOs, IECs, the chance to see schools that we may not easily get to on our own, and we get to do it in fellowship with other folks from SACAC, so it's a lot of fun. More details will be coming this spring. Please keep an eye out on, like I said, those emails for all of the great PD goodies that are coming up, and get involved.
Thank you so much for that, Julia. And now we will have one of our SAI co-chairs, Miss Kristen Bird.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So we don't have any specific updates for our committee at this time, but we do appreciate all the work that your two North Carolina state chairs have put into making this meeting happen. And then we also just greatly appreciate you all taking the time to attend. I know it's a crazy time of year, especially with November 15th deadline coming up tomorrow. So I know it's a super busy time of year, but you will should get information pretty soon about the North Carolina Drive-In Workshop that will be hosted in February. So be looking for that from your North Carolina Drive-In Workshop co-chairs. And then also, if you are able to attend conference in the spring, we hope that you'll attend the North Carolina State meeting that will be held there for you all to gather and have some time just with North Carolina folks. So again, just appreciate you all taking the time to join the meeting today.
Thank you for that, Kristen. And we do have a couple of updates. Kristen briefly touched on this with the North Carolina Virtual Drive-In Workshop. So those are the contacts to reach out to and a few additional details. And then we also have the SACAC North Carolina Government Relations Day on the Hill that is to be announced. Those are the last bit of state updates before we get into a few of our guest speakers in lieu of the breakout rooms. So on the next slide, we have our first guest speaker. We are joined with Dr. Megan Taj-Lily, who is a clinical assistant professor at UNC Chapel Hill School of Education. She has worked in both college counseling, so she has both experiences with the high school side as well as the higher ed side, in addition to mental health counseling. So Dr. Taj-Lily, if you are with us, you have the floor.
Hello, I want to thank you so much for welcoming me today. I feel like a longtime listener, first-time caller to the SACAC community. A lot of the work that I've done has been in concert with a lot of the great work you do working with our high school students and getting them ready for the college admissions process every day. Now I actually work and train with school counselors in training. I teach the career and college admissions class at Chapel Hill, and am working on, and I'm just overwhelmed by the wonderful activities that you all have planned, and really excited by all the energy that you bring to the room. So Kavasia asked me to speak today a little bit about what are the trends, what are we seeing in the college landscape? And I feel a little bit like I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all are on the ground with your lived experience every single day. But here, when I step back and kind of think of the many years I have been in the college setting, I was a college mental health counselor at North Carolina State University for a period of 6 or 7 years, as well as working in the career space and career counseling. Here are some things when I step back and look at the landscape now that I'm really noticing and really seeing as prevalent and pressing as we're talking. Recently, there's been a re-emphasis on test scores. We all really enjoyed that post-COVID, pre-COVID, oh, we don't really need the standardized test scores. It appears that those days are over, and now we are entering back into a period of time where test scores are important and apparent. And so we are speaking in my classes at Chapel Hill on what really are the differences between the ACT and the SAT? What are some other tests you might want to look into? How is this factoring when you're working with a student and counseling them to take the best assessment for them? Another huge topic that is coming up that is everywhere in higher education, AI and essay writing. So what on your campuses are you doing to ensure that students aren't completely just brain dumping into AI and getting whatever AI dumps back at them and submitting it? You know, there is a difference in the writing style. There is a difference in kind of the authenticity. And I would say schools are really looking for that holistic candidate. And they really want that authentic candidate. So it's really important that we encourage our students to be as authentic as possible. Another huge thing, the early decision backouts are now becoming punitive. Schools are actually holding the line as far as not allowing students to back out of the decisions or having repercussions on the high school. So there's a recent case where Tulane is not accepting applications from a school in Colorado for 2 years because one of the students who had applied early decision decided that they no longer wanted to go to the school. So the high school is actually getting penalized rather than the college or the student, which is really interesting when you think about the landscape of that. Early decision has been around for 20 some odd years, but this is one of the first times people have actually held the line. The FAFSA is undergoing a lot of different change, and there's a funding kind of in flux right now with the government shutdowns and with the landscape of higher education. So how are our students filling that out? What are the changes? Are we aware of them? I think in general, there's this idea of over application. Whereas back in my day, applying to 8 schools seemed like a ton, seemed like more than enough. And now you hear people applying to 20, 30, you know, however many they can to really maximize the odds. So that is leading to stiffer and stiffer competition, while our students are anxious and very stressed and incredibly worried about how their performance plays out in the workplace and in the college admissions process. Obviously, the DEI initiative bans are all over our college campuses these days, and they're trickling into the admissions processes as far as our students who are underserved and underrepresented are getting less opportunity than they did before. And that's a terrible tragedy, really. So what can we do as admissions counselors, as school counselors to help bolster their applications and help make sure people are getting eyes on what they're doing? From a student focus, what trends we're seeing in student world, student study abroad is actually increasing. Students are really excited about the prospects of study abroad. So it's not too early in even the college admissions process to say, you know, does this program of study seem to have a robust study abroad program? Is this something you would be interested in doing? How do you plan to put that into your scope of studies? There's also a really interesting focus now, and this has been the last, I'd say, 5-10 years, tangible careers. So it's not just you go to college and you get to find yourself anymore. You get to, you know, major in the liberal arts and just laze about on the quad. Students are actually wanting to come out with a job title, with a direct path, and with options for their future. So that's really interesting and a change that has happened recently. I think the NIL industry that is really blowing up is another fascinating facet as far as student athletes are now able to own their name, image, and likeness. And I also think this has trickle-down effects to how folks are thinking about jobs and thinking about sports management careers and thinking about how can I come up with some way to catalyze this new movement that we're having. Digital literacy is another huge trend. Do our students know if a picture is AI generated? Do they know if content is AI generated? Are they able to use critical thinking skills and disseminate information that is truthful and factual, as well as AI and learning? These are huge. We are seeing AI even coming into the school counseling realm as far as helping train our counselors and grow with them. And then finally, one trend that lends more towards the mental health impact that I'm going to talk about soon is what I call kind of the TikTokification of applications. So even just scrolling Instagram or TikTok, you see now the cake trend where people put all of the schools that have rejected them out with a logo on the cake. Or there was one guy I was following for a couple weeks who was trying to get denied from schools with 100% admittance rates. So he would just say really wacky stuff. So students are clued into this. They're seeing this. They're seeing this at 5th grade, 6th grade, all the way up through college. And they're kind of taking their cues from what they're witnessing online. So the college application process, it used to be you and maybe 5, 10 of your friends knew kind of where you were applying and what's going on. Now it's become a nationwide trend where you might say, oh, you know, here's my application and here's what I did and here's how it was handled or here's what happened. So it's a really fascinating time. And if you're not familiar with the Marist mindset list, it used to be the Beloit mindset list. It's a really fascinating look at the trends of the incoming freshmen every year and how they've grown up. And it's really wonderful for those of us older and wiser to see the differences in students and what they've been used to. Next slide. So Kavasia also asked me to speak about graduate school, and should graduate school even be on a college or a high school senior's thought list right now? My answer would be yes. I think it is a very interesting time in our economy, in our government. And it seems as though companies are less willing to invest in students straight out of undergrad. Even for entry-level roles, they seem to be looking for students that have more experience or more exposure. So the job market for new college graduates has deteriorated noticeably, with the unemployment rate for young graduates rising faster than for young adults. And so entry-level jobs are really hard to come by. So gone are the days where, you know, you go to college, you get your degree, you come out and you get a job. It's really important that our students are understanding that to get into the world of work these days, it might take longer and it might take more degrees and more education and more experience. Along with that is AI. A study from Stanford suggests that AI has a disproportionate impact on entry-level workers, potentially displacing jobs in fields like computer science and software development. So students that think they know what they want to do may or may not have jobs in the future. And then along with that point, Dell found that as many as 85% of jobs that will be here in the year 2030 have not been invented yet. So we're preparing our students in a different way now, and in a way that requires more intense focus and more intense study that might need longer years. So it's not unheard of for you in the college admissions business to bring up the topic of, okay, that's great that you're going to do that, but have you ever thought about graduate school or what the funding might be like or what these situations might play into? Because we are preparing students for a very different economy than a lot of us were raised in. And then along with that, just kind of an economic indicator, young adults are earning more than their parents did at the same age, but they are less able to buy houses or set up a lifestyle, which is leading to a lot of frustration and delayed life milestones. So people are getting married later, people are having children later, and a lot of this has to do with the different aspects of what the economy is serving us right now. Next slide. So I also wanted to speak a little bit about what trends we're seeing in mental health as far as students. So the Center for Collegiate Mental Health is a wonderful website. They're run out of Penn State, and they do a huge aggregation of data regarding what students are coming in with in the mental health field side of the college world. So we are seeing an increase in students come in with long-term, really pervasive mental health disorders from freshman year. They're coming in already diagnosed with something, already on some sort of medication, and needing longer management over periods of time. So the most common classes or types of diagnoses between 2021 and 2024 were anxiety at 45.1%, depression at 31.9%, and adjustment disorders at 29.2%. So adjustment disorder is kind of like transition. So obviously the college application cycle, the adjusting to college is a huge part of adjustment disorders, which can lead to depression, anxiety. So we're really seeing that overall 87.3% of students had at least one of these three disorders when entering college and coming to the and receiving services at their college mental health counseling center. Between 2015 and 2024, the rate of anxiety and adjustment disorders actually increased. So again, COVID, all of those things, we are becoming a very anxious society. However, depression and substance use disorders has actually decreased. Again, ADHD or neurodevelopmental disorders declined a little bit from 2015 to 2019, but recently there has been a notable increase in neurodevelopmental disorders, students coming in with them, being prepared to manage them in their college workspace. So we're talking about students who are in a really incredibly difficult period of time, managing their own mental health, managing the stiff competition in the college admissions world, and managing a completely different workforce than what their parents knew or what they knew. So there's a lot of reasons for increased purview and increased oversight when we're talking about anxiety, depression, student wellness. Are there any questions I can answer for anyone?
Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Taj Lily. Really, really insightful information there. Our next speaker is actually a duo. On the next slide, we have Jeremiah Fields, the recruitment coordinator at Forsyth Tech Community College. He is also a former colleague of mine working at Wake Forest University, Office of Undergraduate Admissions, so he also has dual perspectives here. And then we have Mr. Eric Brooks, who is the director of recruitment at Forsyth Tech Community College. So the floor is yours.
Hey, Kavasia, thanks again for the invitation to speak with you all today. Again, to everyone else on the committee, kind of a part of the administrative team, thanks for giving us the opportunity to speak today to kind of advocate for community colleges students and kind of their transfer pipeline to four-year institutions as well, because most of our student population here at Forsyth Technical Community College is enrolled to transfer to a four-year institution. So we do a lot of support with advising, as well as, student experience, structures that kind of support students with developing all they need to kind of be prepared for the next step. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. Eric's here with me, so he'll jump in as well. We can go ahead. So some of our advising support structures and how do we support our students with advising that will be a little bit different than a four-year institution. Our conversation will be directly in correlation to how we support our students at Forsyth Tech. And the way that we do it is our professional staff, and we also have peer triage model for academic navigation. It also increases the chance of connection and comfort for the student because it is peer-to-peer. So the way that it is kind of designed here at Forsyth Tech, you scan the barcode and then you input your information into the software. Then one of our peer advisors come and grab you from the lobby. And we do this, we have peers in place because sometimes students may not need to speak with a professional academic advisor. Sometimes their questions could be answered right with a peer advisor, right? So that is kind of how we triage a lot of our students with advising and provide that support. Also, students can also their peers can also give kind of examples and experience that kind of help them navigate as well. Eric, you can jump in, or you?
Yep. Yep. So I'll talk a bit about the next point, which is rock and roll. So traditionally here at Forsyth Tech, registration opens March 1st for the upcoming academic year. So that's the upcoming fall, spring, and summer terms. If, students jump right in, some are able to register themselves. They're able to kind of navigate our systems fairly well, being new students, first-time students with us, and then some who are returning. But at the same time, we offer what we call rock and roll events, and we offer those strategically throughout the academic year, each and every semester, usually leading up to the next term or the next semester. And that is an all hands on deck event for all faculty advisors and professional advisors on campus. So a student who feels like they need some additional support and for whatever reason they have not found their way to our campus for advising or registration support, they're able to come that day, they sign up, and we're able to host short but intense advising sessions that then leads to them registering before they end their time with us on campus that day. In addition to that support, we as a recruitment team, we also assist with residency. So for those whose residency will expire before the upcoming semester or during the upcoming semester, we do offer that. And that's not just for current students. We offer that for prospective students as well, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. But that rock and roll event allows students to come in different walks of life. Maybe they work full time during the day and they're not able to make it to campus. Maybe they're not as tech savvy and can't schedule a virtual appointment. They're able to come to that rock and roll event. It can be overwhelming a bit, but we have advisors who are set at each and every station, and students are spending 30 to 40 minutes on campus. We don't let them leave until they feel comfortable with their next steps here at the college. First advising. So we had a first advising model that I believe worked well for a while, for a few years. It was a bit taxing on faculty and staff. So we've revamped that model. Right now, over the summer, we have our faculty advisors who kind of set up a triage space, and they offer advising to any and everyone who stops by. No appointment needed. But also in that time, it's not just registration, it's really teaching the student how to map out their plan with us. And then if they are planning to transfer, they also map that transfer plan out as well. We do have professional advisors that are assigned to each and every student who is planning to transfer. So if they've chosen the college transfer pathway, we do pair them with a professional college transfer advisor. And then we also have a new addition to our programming here, which is our transfer trail. So these are opportunities throughout each semester where our transfer advisors host events where they just kind of pick the brain of the student, make sure that they're still moving in the right direction, not only on paper as it relates to the courses that they've mapped out for themselves or mapped out with our support, but also just making sure that they still feel confident in their transition, and not so much just for the degree, but for the ultimate career goal. Because of course, as a community college, our goal is to get you from the classroom to your career as prepared as you can be as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I can also jump in there again with my background with undergraduate admissions, being the assistant dean of admissions and the coordinator of special group visits at Wake Forest University. It allowed me to kind of set up certain models here at Forsyth Tech that kind of supports transfer admissions. And the transfer trail is one way that we kind of support our students with application workshops. So of course, our students are going to different type of institutions, four-year public, four-year private institutions. And all of those institutions have different, of course, application processes and how they evaluate applicants. So we just want to make sure that we have our students. Are you all hearing my voice? I'm moving slow, but can you hear me well?
I can still hear
Yes,
you
we
well.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was throwing me off a bit. But so we support our students with the transfer trail. You Explore is a kind of like an orientation type model where we just want all of our students to sit through that so they can have kind of that foundational knowledge about transferring, and then information sessions from transfer reps, and then also transfer support, a little bit more when you speak about articulation agreements and transfer credits that will transfer to certain colleges, a lot of our students come to Forsyth Tech, they know where they want to go. A good amount of them know like what 4 year they want to go to when they graduate. Even when they sit down and do the application with us, with someone a part of our team, they're like, "Hey, I want to go here." With me having the background that I have at Wake Forest, I say, "Hey, this is how you're going to get there." Right. So we do those type of conversations, talking about leadership and extracurricular activities, and different opportunities that allow our students to kind of expand their context in as it relates to evaluation to the 4 year institutions. But we also have professional transfer advisors. We have 7 of them here as an institution. So they provide that immediate, transfer support. They have a caseload. So they are, like the last slide stated, they're proactive with reminders. Hey, especially if they know a certain college is coming that day to table in our lobby, they'll say, "Hey, your college is coming. Make sure you come check out the rep that day." So those conversations are very helpful. But at Forsyth Tech, I believe we do a great job of standing behind the student, right, kind of behind, and letting them make their steps, right. But we're kind of like just over their shoulder, like, "Hey, this is the kind of information and support that we would like for you to have before you make these decisions." And of course, and we partner with several institutions in the area, Salem, Winston State University. We have a 49er Connect program, 49er Next program with UNC Charlotte. So those bring a little bit more high level type of support that we can provide from the transfer admission side and the Forsyth Tech side. All right, Eric.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and jump in. So student population insight, just giving you all an idea of, what is a transfer Forsyth Tech student. And of course, you all have come across those students. Many of your institutions come and table in our lobby throughout the week. We do have several private institutions that also table. We have some private partnerships where they actually accept some of our associate in applied science courses that students are able to take in some of our associate programs. So of course, those are more hands-on applied science, not the traditional transfer programs or the GETC courses. But our student population right now is around average around 24 years old. But of course, we have 2 early colleges and we have a middle college, and we have over 2,000 students that are dual enrolled at the traditional high schools in Forsyth and Stokes County. So that kind of skews our number a bit. I think when I'm here on campus, I see most of our students in kind of passing around main campus. They're around my age, so they're like the 30 to 40-year-old range on campus. First generation, right? So a lot of the conversations that we have as a recruitment team with prospective students sometimes is convincing them that there is a need for some type of post-secondary credential. So we're not always talking to students who know that they're interested in attending Forsyth Tech or earning some credential. We have that conversation, and that sometimes is the result of that. We provide wraparound support services to our students in all ways. We have recently created a separate department that's kind of housed in our area. They're called onboard navigators. It is their job to support students once the application is submitted all the way into the first day of class. And their conversation is not always academic in nature. Their conversation is, so what are your needs outside of the classroom? We want to show students that we really care. We know that the population that we work with, sometimes these are individuals who are either making a change and pursuing something post-secondary, or these are individuals who are like, if I don't make a change, I don't know how I'm going to survive. So we want to make sure that we provide that support. What we didn't talk about over the last slide is that when we host registration and advising events on campus, we also provide childcare. Because we know that a good portion of our students are parents, so we provide that child care for them as well, just to kind of lessen the burden. But very diverse student body here on campus. We're making strides in several different avenues. We are on the cusp of becoming a Hispanic serving institution, so that's a lot of work that we're doing on the recruitment side, but also on the retention side. And then also, what I want you all to know about our students is that they They want to be here. They want to pursue their goals. They want to excel. Will they need a bit of support outside of the classroom? Yes. We may be spoiling them by providing that support in the way that we do, but we want them to do well. So we want to kind of give them that push as much as we can, so that their transition from Forsyth Tech to the four-year institution is as seamless as possible. But also at the same time, kind of mirroring what Jeremiah said, we stand beside them and behind them to ensure that they're learning along the way so that they are successful at your four-year institution.
Yeah, and I'll just kind of add that when our students transfer, they know what their career goals are, right? And they're a little bit more mature as well. So for some students that are 18 years old, they don't know what they want to do yet. So Forsyth Tech and community colleges is a good avenue for them to take a cost-effective route to still knocking out general education classes while doing extracurricular activities, while building out their resume, as well as kind of having content and substance on their application, right? Because once they leave here, they now know what they want to do. They now know the trajectory of their life to get to their goals and things of that nature. So our students are very, mature and devoted, and they have a certain amount of resilience as well, kind of navigating a difficult time, right? A time where there is anxiety, where students are going off the 4 years, and you're like, hey, what am I going to do here? And then by the time the next 2 years after your graduation of high school ends, you know that you are going to a four-year institution just like your friends did. You just did a different route to get there. And that's all we have.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah and Eric. Prior to us getting into our last speaker, if you all refer to the chat, our executive note taker did do an overview and some important takeaways from what's been covered in terms of updates, events, things of that sort. So just wanted to let you all know, but before we wrap up, that is in the chat, so you'll be able to have that for your records. And our last and final, but certainly not least speaker is Reverend Devin Woodruff, the instructional coach and athletic advisor at Quality Education Academy. So I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to Devin. You got it.
There we are. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Wow, this has been fun. This has been fun. It's been great to sit here with all of you and SACAC. You all are doing some amazing work with what you do. Grateful to have met Kavasia and learned of what you have to offer. I am, as she said, Reverend Devin Woodruff. I'm in the Winston-Salem area. I'm an instructional coach and athletic advisor at Quality Education Academy in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And you can run those two slides there if you want to. Just some background about who we are. We are a public charter school that started in 1992 as a private entity and then opened up as one of the original 34 charter schools when that movement started back in 1997 here in North Carolina. And we eventually expanded that to become a K-12 charter school, and our Quality Education Institute is now our daycare center that we opened in 2000. So we take more of a holistic approach. And you can go to the next slide now. And so you can see through our mission, through our vision, the whole point of what we do at Quality Education Academy is to be able to work with people that are in disadvantaged areas, that may come from disadvantaged areas. We tend to work more with the whole child as opposed to working with just the academic side of things. So in talking to Kavasia, she was intrigued by the work that we were doing, and so just wanted me to speak on how we do that. A lot of our students are primary students of color, so that you're Black, you're African American, Asian, African, as well as Hispanic communities, right? And the thing about them is that they're not different. A lot of them just lack some of the access that their peers have in some of the major public schools or in some of the spaces that they have access to what actually happens beyond what's going on at home. Most of our scholars just physically have not been exposed to what's going on in your spaces, right? I see some good friends there from that are there at Western Carolina, so go Cats. That's where I spent my undergrad years. But just like me, I went to public school. I didn't have a QEA to go to when I was coming up, but if it weren't for you all at some of your institutions coming into Carver High School and me being exposed to what was available to me, the only thing I would have known was the colleges that were in my hometown, right? And so a lot of our scholars, especially the ones of color, are in situations to where it's not that they don't want to take the next step, they just have not been exposed to what that looks like. So there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of trepidation, and we actually working with them because we are a K-12 school, they actually do have access to that because we expose them to it. We expose them to college, we expose them to the military, we expose them to for SciTech, we have a number of students that dual enroll every single year to start that process of learning, okay, well, what am I accountable for after the 12th grade? One of the things that could help from a college perspective down to what it is to the class to the students that we work with, one of the things that could help is the exposure and the information, right? That's one of the biggest parts. We start as early as middle school with exposing them to college, with exposing them to the opportunities for dual enrollment in high school, with exposing them to what it actually means to make good grades in middle school as early as their 6th grade year. And the biggest piece of that is because of the lack of it, right? And so it's having college fairs in the gym and inviting our middle school scholars over, as well as our high school seniors. It's the college visits. It's the sit down conversations with their advisors that keeps them on a track to know, okay, this is where you're headed, right? In middle school, their advisor sits down with them and says, you're headed to high school. This is what you need to be prepared for, as opposed to them just kind of meandering through 6th through 8th grade. Right. And so that's one of the things that we've done to help all of our disadvantaged students, those that a lot of them have been labeled with anxiety, depression, some of the other things that come along with our exceptional children's services. And so it's bigger than, whether they're assuming they can go to college. It's actually helping them understand what that means for them at our institution. Right. And so socioeconomic status does play a role in that, right? A lot of our scholars, we actually have one that's intending on going to Brown, and she's never been outside of North Carolina, right? And so her biggest thing is that her parents don't have the money to send her to Brown to be able for her to have that experience, to know what it looks like to live in the Northeast, to experience school at an Ivy League level. Her only exposure has been to the schools down here in the Southeast. So the different approach there is that the best thing that we do for her is encourage her. So she's been on virtual tours. We've actually sat down and mapped out what a college life would look like at Brown, what the difference is in attending an Ivy League school. We actually really have to be really hands-on with them, with our student athletes, with our scholars that are not athletes, and with our socioeconomically disadvantaged. We have to just be more hands-on with them because they don't have that exposure. They don't have any voices, in some cases at all, at home saying, this is what college looks like, or when I was in college, this is what I did. And so we have to be more hands-on with them, right? And something that my students should be mindful of when reviewing applications. The first part is it's work. That's I love the presentation. And forgive me, but from the admissions counselor from Carolina, when they see the college admissions applications, a lot of times they get overwhelmed, right? Because they realize they have to write an essay. They realize they may have to go on an interview. They realize that it's more than just filling out a piece of paper. It's actually you saying, I'm telling my story. And that's what we've actually had to do, is explain it to them that way. You're going to be able to tell your story through your college application, which starts with your name. It starts with your address. It starts with who you are. And then that application is going to ask you to write an essay about something, right? But it should come from who you are, not necessarily something you need to make up. So we don't allow them to use AI for that. And if they do, we make them go back and review it. Is this passage actually talking about you, or is it just talking in general? Let's go back and let's annotate through this. And so we kind of work with those soft skills because, one, we know they're going to need them in college, and two, because we want them to understand that the application process to a college or to a job or to the military is literally you telling your story. So when somebody reads it, they get a good understanding of who you are holistically. So we, in my particular space, we have to be more hands-on. And the things that I enjoy that a lot of colleges do, and I'm seeing a lot more of, is the college fairs, is the college recruitment days, is the opportunities to even speak with scholars virtually. We this year we had our first virtual tour where we had a counselor from Delaware, I believe, that came in and spoke with them about their school. And then they were able to tour our seniors about their school, and they were actually able to virtually do the tour, but now they had some understanding of what they were looking at, right? And so I think that exposure helps. And you all do a great job of putting all of that together as a committee and as an organization. And I would say the one thing that we need more of within our public charter schools, as well as even so much in our public schools, is that exposure to what is the next thing and who can I talk to learn more about that. So with that, I am wrapped up as far as what Kavasia asked me to present. Are there any questions from anyone that may have some that are pertinent for the group?
Well,
Right.
thank you so much for that, Devin. I really appreciate it. That's all that we have for you. My information, as you can see, it's listed up there with any questions, comments, concerns, or random epiphanies that you all had. Again, to the speakers, thank you all so much for your time and that information. Very, very insightful. And Meredith, I'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate you taking the time, and we'll hope to see everyone at conference in March. Bye.
Bye.